Hi everybody, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, welcome to part 2 of this story time. Holy cow, this is a long one. I've literally been filming for the past 6 hours and I want to go to sleep, but I have to edit this. I'm gonna cry. Anyways, back to today's story time. No, it was not a setup. Ryan called Andrew. Andrew finally answers the phone and Ryan and Raven are tripping on LSD. And Raven was still begging to talk to me over the phone. She's like, let me talk to her, let me talk to her, let me talk to her, let me talk to her. And Andrew's like, she does not want to talk to you. So eventually, after like 5 minutes of her begging to talk to me, Andrew finally hangs up the phone. Now, not too long after this, her and Ryan came to Andrew's house again, and Andrew went downstairs to go and talk to them when all of a sudden, Raven walks into the bedroom while I'm up in the bedroom. Now I'm thinking to myself, oh, fuck. This was a setup and now I'm gonna get my ass beat. But instead, it was the complete opposite actually. She missed me and she doesn't hate me. So yeah, after that, somehow we became best friends again. And I'm not surprised that this had happened, but things were completely different with our friendship than they were before. So this is my personal opinion. Okay, I feel like the reason why Raven and I stayed best friends as long as we did was because, listen, I knew that our friendship was going to fade out after she left high school because she is 2 years older than me. But I am almost positive that the only reason our friendship was still alive, not thriving, but alive, was because we were dating Andrew and Ryan and they were best friends, so it just made sense. Also, now we were bonding over them, if that makes sense. You know, like, oh my god, like my boyfriend did this. Oh my god, yeah, mine did this. They're so annoying, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yes, it still felt like we had everything in common, you know, that we did before, but now the only thing that we would talk about together was our boyfriends. Now, when I say that things changed, I mean that she started treating me different, which I do find very annoying because my personal opinion, okay? If you are going to forgive somebody for something that they did, that needs to be the end of it, especially if you want that person to stay in your life, okay? You cannot hold a grudge and tell somebody, I forgive you and I want you in my life, but I'm gonna start treating you differently. Like, if you're gonna forgive me, I'm gonna expect things to go back to the way they were, you know, us being best friends, especially when you say, I miss my best friend. And if you wanted revenge, I don't know. All I'm saying is that she would always try to one-up me with everything. Like, for example, our relationships. Now, maybe she did this because she wanted it to seem like her and Ryan were a strong power couple, you know, and I could never do anything to get in between them, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's how it felt, okay? Because she would tell me that her relationship is doing amazing, blah, 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 you know? And I was super honest about mine. Like, I would tell her, yeah, my relationship is garbage right now, you know? Like, I don't even know if I want to be in a relationship with this kid. And after I would tell her about it, she'd be like, oh, well, my relationship is amazing, blah, 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 this and that, the next.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
And the only reason why I knew that she was lying was because Ryan told Andrew that she was over-exaggerating about their relationship. Whenever she said that they were doing good, she actually had lied. They were actually on the verge of breaking up. I didn't care that she didn't tell me about her relationship issues, but my thing is like, dude, stop lying. Like, what the heck? So this is very, I want to say, petty. Okay, this is, you guys are probably like, well, that seems like something stupid to get upset over. So, my boyfriend and I, Andrew, were supposed to be doing some things with our apartment, you know, to make it look a little bit nicer. And, you know, we didn't have too much money because obviously we just got out of high school. This is like fast forwarding to, you know, him and I are out of high school. And we're both working part-time jobs that are not paying a lot of money. So, you know, I tell her about this. I'm super excited. I'm like, yeah, you know, like, we finally saved up some money to do this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then a few days later, we're talking on the phone and she's like, yeah, we talked to Ryan's mom and we decided that we're gonna be redoing our whole apartment. Like, we're getting brand new furniture and everything. So after that, I decided to tell her how I felt, and then I blocked her. And I stopped being friends with her for a little bit. Well, then fast forward, I end up unblocking her. We end up talking about it. Which, you know, that situation could have been a coincidence, okay? But it was just really upsetting me how often this was happening, you know? Now, it's too early for me to give any examples because not only did her and I just become best friends again, but she also still lived a few hours away. But we're gonna fast forward to the summer after my senior year of high school. So this is right after I graduated. Ryan and Andrew were not friends anymore, and to be honest, I forget what happened because they fought literally all the time and they were super on and off. But we finally tried to get them to become friends again, which completely backfired and triggered another argument that should have never happened in the first place, to be honest. So Ryan asked if we would throw Raven's birthday party at our apartment. Now, of course we said yes. So fast forward, we do the party, we're having fun. Then at the end of the night, Andrew goes upstairs and he finds that some of his marijuana is missing, okay? Now, our first suspect was Ryan, because a little backstory on Ryan, okay? He would literally steal Andrew's weed all the time, okay? All the time. Even though his parents had a crap ton of money, he should have been able to pay for his own, but no, instead he would literally put hands on Andrew if Andrew did not give him the weed that he paid for. Like, and I'm not talking like put his hands on, like, you know, like, push him or something like that. No, I'm talking full-blown 5-year-old temper tantrum, punch, scream. Yeah, ridiculous. Like, if Andrew told him that he didn't have anything, he would literally tackle him, punch him, go in his pockets and be like, yeah, you did, you're a fucking liar, blah, 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 I'm taking this, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that just went on for a while. So I don't really know how Andrew confronted Ryan about it, but Ryan said that he didn't take his stuff, which was literally the excuse that he would use all the time whenever everybody knew that he took it, but he would lie. Like, bruh, you're not slick. You're really not. He's like, I didn't take your stuff, blah, blah, blah. So they stopped being friends again, which in my opinion is understandable, okay? Like, this kid literally used to put his hands on Andrew over this stuff. So yeah, Andrew had a right to stop being friends with him. So, you know, then Ryan decides to be all the mature one and he's like, I'll pay him for it, blah, blah, blah. So Andrew tries to drop off the money that he thinks he owes Andrew for the weed, but at that point, Andrew does not want his money at all. He literally just wants Ryan to stay the hell away from him. But Ryan and Raven show up to the apartment, and one thing led to another. Andrew and Ryan are arguing, and I had told Raven that I wanted us to stay out of it because we, all four of us, had a talk that we all needed to start staying out of each other's relationships, okay? That was literally a talk that all four of us had to have. Like, their fights were their fights. It has nothing to do with us, just like our fights have nothing to do with them. Well, she decides that she wants to be Captain Save-A-Ho again, and she starts screaming at Andrew, saying things that I had told her while I was venting. She decided to stab me in the back, pretty much. And I've never done anything to her like that at all. And when I tell you literally everything, I'm
gonna kill myself! I'm going to kill myself, and it's your fault!
So now Andrew's pissed off at me, and then Andrew and Ryan start fighting. They're outside in the street. Andrew pushes Ryan up against the car, you know. They're punching each other, which I guess Raven didn't expect Andrew to win that fight. So she starts screaming stuff again. And this time she's not saying things that I had told her. No. Instead, she is screaming racial slurs at him over and over and over and over again, as loud as she can. So after that, Andrew and I had a long conversation because I did not say anything during this whole fight because, first of all, I was inside working, okay? Number two, I didn't want to be involved, so I didn't even hear what was going on outside. All I remember is I went and I opened the door, they're talking to me, Andrew runs downstairs, tells them to leave, and then I go back upstairs and I start working, and then all hell breaks loose. So after that, I sent Raven a very long message pretty much saying why I can't associate myself with her anymore. What she did was super messed up, and I told her that she should have just did what I said and stayed out of the argument, and her boyfriend does not need her to fight his battles. He should be able to do it on his own if he's a man. And then I say, you know, what you said was super disrespectful. You owe him an apology, pretty much, you know? So after that, I block her, and there were a few times where her and I did talk, but then the one time her and I talked, I picked her up and we caught up for a little bit. I dropped her back off and I blocked her again. So fast forward, after this, my boyfriend and I move, and we move in the exact same plan that they live in. At this point, my boyfriend is trying to get me to make new friends, and I will be the first to say that trying to make girlfriends is extremely hard, okay? Like, very, very hard. Like, I really do try, because one of my things is I'm a girl's girl, okay? It is what it is. That's always been me, okay? So I was getting super upset whenever I wasn't able to make friends, you know? Like, for example, one of his friends was dating this one girl, and they were over at my house, and we had met a few times before that. Well, I tried being super nice to her, but she never gave me anything back. She was very cold after that, and I just didn't try again because, you know, I have social anxiety. I feel embarrassed whenever I try to communicate with people and they don't give the same energy back to me. But that's not the only time that I've tried to make girlfriends. Another problem was I just never went out of the house. So, yeah. So fast forward, like I say, we are living in the same exact neighborhood. We literally live a 5-minute walk away from each other and probably a 30-second drive away from each other. Well, him and I, Andrew and I, we had talked, and he did not like seeing me upset, he said. So he wanted me to try to reach out to her, and obviously I told him I would only do that if he was actually comfortable with it. But then he brought up a good point. One of his friends tried to, I don't know what it is with me and LSD. I swear to God, I don't know what it is. One of his friends tried to do stuff with me while I was having the worst trip of my life. And he did not even ask me if I was okay with them being friends still. So, yeah, that was that. So a little bit after we moved in, I end up writing in this card about how I wanted us to talk, blah, blah, blah. And then I put it in her windshield, like right between her wiper and the windshield. And I can't remember when I put that card in there. I think it was like 2 weeks after we moved in. To be honest, I didn't even think that she was gonna get it because, of course, after I do that, we were getting hit with snowstorms left and right. Like, I'm talking blizzards, everyone's work getting canceled and everything. And not to mention, we were in the middle of COVID. Well, she ends up texting me saying that she got the card and saying that she knows that she could have reached out to me, but she didn't care to. And she feels like too much has happened to the point where we just can't go back to being friends, and pretty much said that she wishes me the best, blah, blah, blah. And she pretty much just, the paragraph was like her updating me on her life while also saying that she didn't want to be friends again. She said that she had started hanging out with a girl that I had fought, and they became super close. So, you know, we become friends again. But it felt like she would compete with me about the smallest things ever. For example, the one night I go over to her house and we end up pulling an all-nighter. I stay over there until she has to go to work in the morning. And she's like spraying on her perfume and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you need to smell this." So I smell it, it smells good. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's really nice." And she was like, "Well, you can't get it unless you're gonna tell people that I recommended it to you." Now you think I'm joking. You literally probably think that I am joking, that she was joking around like, haha, you know, like, no. No, 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 no. The one time I had showed her a pair of shoes that I got, and we're on FaceTime, and the call just goes silent. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" She was like, "I literally wanted those shoes." And then she rolls her eyes and she goes, like, girl, I can't read fucking minds. The fuck? So I'm like, okay, well, why don't you just get them? And she's like, well, I can't get them now. I'm just gonna start sending you stuff that I like so that way you don't buy the same things as me.
Child. Anyway, so.
Oh my God. Yep. And this one was just really weird and uncalled for, to be honest. The night that she had texted me about finding the card, she asked me if we could meet up, so we did. And we're just talking about how, you know, I moved in, blah, blah, blah. Which I could already tell that she felt some way about me living there. Like, she probably thought that I was copying her by living there when literally there are like only 20 freaking apartments where we live to choose from. Anyways, so we're walking together and out of nowhere, she's like, I just want you to know that I'm still gonna call this my apartment complex because I lived here first and you just moved in. And it's weird that you're living here.
We do not care.
So yeah, definitely small things like that. And, you know, I noticed these things, but I didn't really say anything to her about them. First of all, because I'm not petty. Second of all, I don't give a flying you-know-what about whose apartment complex this is. Like, why would you think that bothers me? The only thing that bothers me is that you brought it up in a way where, yeah, you were just trying to act like I was copying you. I was not. So fast forward, small things like this are still happening, and then I end up moving 30 minutes away from her, and we're still as close as we were before. But one thing that I had noticed over the few months of me living there was that she never put in any effort to see me. It was always me going to her house to hang out, or I would have to drive 30 minutes away to pick her up if we wanted to go and do something. And, you know, I think there was only once out of all these times that I asked her to pay gas money. She did, but like, that's not the point. I think the thing that really would piss me off though is she would cancel on me last minute, but you know, whatever. The one night we are on the phone with her grandma and I forget what we are talking about, okay? And we're talking about how her grandma has got a lot of plastic surgery, you know, like she's got her lips done, pretty much everything done, right? And then Raven goes, oh yeah, she's had her lips done too, grandma. And her grandma's like, oh yeah, they look really nice, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then Raven goes, well, mine are all natural.
It was really cute. I don't watch TV. Like, no one cares. You don't get an award because you watch less TV.
Girl, I felt extremely annoyed because clearly she was trying to point out the fact that she was better than me because she hadn't got work done, and in front of her grandma. Kind of like she wanted validation from her grandma that, you know, her lips look better than mine. So, you know, her grandma's like, oh yeah, you know, yours are natural, you know, like you've always had nice lips, sweetie, you know, blah, blah, blah. Now, I didn't care that her grandma was like, you know, giving her compliments like I really could give two less. The part that bothered me was Raven clearly was trying to hurt my feelings and clearly trying to get validation that she was better than me. Like, she literally went, well, mine are all natural though. Now, obviously, you guys are probably like, well, why didn't you just stop being friends with her? But my thing is I was still holding on to the good parts of our friendship, you know? So fast forward, I'm over at her house again, and what do you know? The same exact shit. Oh my god, I got these 2 new perfumes that smell really good. Don't get them because they're mine. And then in every time that we were supposed to go out, she finds an excuse not to go out with me. Literally every single time. I'm not even joking. She would go out with every other one of her friends except for me. Like, we would go get our nails done together, but we never like went out drinking together or anything like that. And yeah, sure, she could say that it's because you're underage, blah, 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 blah. I had a fake and I knew where we could get in. One thing that I did realize, the friends that she would go out with, she would tell me that they're ugly all the time, and how like, it was just really weird to me how she would take out every single one of her other friends except for me. So eventually I moved with my boyfriend Andrew, and after we moved, Raven and I thought that we were gonna drift apart because we were even further away from each other now. But actually we stayed pretty close. Things were getting a little bit annoying. I felt like I was putting in most of the effort to keep our friendship alive because I would ask her to FaceTime all the time She would literally blow me off 24/7. And her favorite excuse is, I promised my boyfriend I would watch TV with him tonight. You've literally said that the past 7 nights in a row. Like, you literally live with the guy. Can't you just watch it with him when we get off the phone? Now, during this time, I was texting her every morning to say, how are you? Good morning, this, that, the next. And I just decided that I was done and I was going to give her the same energy that she was giving me. Eventually, she realized when I wasn't answering the phone and she called me. We talked about it and then we were good. Well, fast forward, I go and I visit her and I am super excited, and while I am there this time, I meet this new girl that she's becoming best friends with, and she was really nice. Her and I got along, but fast forward, I went home and we would still FaceTime each other, but she was back on her bullshit of pretty much now copying everything that I did, which was weird because you remember how she said that I couldn't get anything that she had and she didn't want us to have anything that was the same. Well, it was like she was trying to almost get under my skin with getting everything that I wanted or got. I don't know, it was weird. Like, for example, I bought a bunch of decorations from this one store. Then, like, the same night, she's sending me pictures of decorations off of that website saying that she also wants to start redoing her apartment. Like I said, I just found it weird. Maybe it's a coincidence, and maybe she just really liked the decorations. Okay, whatever. Then, we're talking about these pair of Uggs, and she's like, oh my god, you're getting the ones that I have. And mind you, she does not even wear them. She literally told me I don't like them, I wore them like once. And then she pretty much tries to tell me every reason why I shouldn't get them, which I really didn't care what she said, to be honest, because I was used to this by now. So, you know, we're still in the conversation and I'm like, I want to get those, I want to get these ones. And I sent her a picture of the ones that I like and she's like, oh, those are cute, you know, whatever. And my thing is like, I never saw a problem with us having the same things. Like, I don't know what it is, to be honest, but I just never saw an issue with it, to be honest. I was honestly weirded out that she was so like adamant about us not having the same things. Anyways, so I don't even know how long after that call. I literally think it was like maybe 3 days. So we're talking on the phone and she's like, do you want to see what Uggs I'm getting? And I'm like, sure. Can you guess which one she sends me? The ones that I want.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
Like I said, I don't know if she actually liked them or she was mad that I was gonna get the same pair of Uggs that she had, so she was like, well, I'm gonna get the ones that she wants too. But it's like, you pretty much make it clear that you don't want to have any of the same things that I do. Yeah, I just felt like she was being really petty, to be honest, and copying me. So yeah, like when I tell you everything was a freaking competition, everything. Like, she would claim stuff. First of all, nobody should even be claiming anything in the first place. Like, that's petty. Yeah, it's like, oh, I have this perfume, don't get this perfume, it's mine, you already stole the other one that I had, so don't get this one. I want these pair of Uggs, don't get them. Oh, I use this skincare, you're copying me if you get it. Well, I would say like right around this time frame is whenever I drew the fucking line. The line was drawn. I was done, okay? So I come and I visit again, and this time I'm staying with her and Ryan. Now, first of all, I was not comfortable being around Ryan still, even though it had been a few years since our last bad encounter, I guess you could say. But still, I just did not feel comfortable being around him. So whenever Raven would leave to go to work or just leave the house in general and I was at the house by myself with Ryan, I would leave immediately. I didn't want to be there. It was uncomfortable for me, you know? And Andrew and I were broken up at this time. So I was talking to other guys that I knew before and some on Tinder, and I was going on dates. Well, while I was staying at her house, she said that she had a plan to get Ryan and I to become best friends again. So, I was not on board with it. Not at all. I did not want to be best friends with him. No. And you know what? The kid really could be, you know, a nice kid now, but at the same time, I just don't care to get to know him over again. Well, so the one night she comes in the room and she's like, hey, like Ryan's really upset. And I'm like, why? And she goes, well, because he's been trying to talk to you and I told him that he needs to try and talk to you, but you just haven't been receptive. Now, to be honest, that was not true. She said that he came in and said hi to me, which I really did not hear. Also, I probably just said hi back, but I don't remember him ever saying hi in the first place, to be honest. I never started a conversation with this kid because I just don't want to. Like, end of story. Anyway, so one night we all go out and we are sitting down at this table. We're having a pretty good conversation, you know. Oh, it's Ryan, Raven, and I. Surprisingly, things were not too awkward between Ryan and I. Like, I guess he was just trying to be nice, but at the same time, I don't know. So fast forward, Raven, Maggie, and I all go out to breakfast, and Maggie is the girl that I had told you about that she was kind of becoming really good friends with. Well, me, as a new single girl, I'm telling my friends about dates that I'm going on, about some of the guys that I'm talking to, you know, because I've been in a relationship for years, you know, like this is all new to me again. I'm excited, I'm nervous, you know. I want to tell my best friend about it. But apparently, I was talking about guys too much, which was kind of annoying because, like I said, I'm single, new to being single, and I can't really talk about this with anybody else, you know? Like, what am I gonna do? Tell my grandma that, like, you know, I've been talking to 3 guys on Tinder? No. Thought I could talk to my best friend about it. Clearly not. So the next day, I tell Raven about this kid who wanted to take me on a date, and he was a kid that I had a huge crush on in my freshman year of high school. He was a senior, and he was one of the guys that almost every girl in school had a crush on. And she was like, oh my god, really? No way, that's cool. Well, the night that he asked me to go out on a date, I wanted to go over to my other friend's house beforehand because I hadn't seen her in a very long time. So, you know, I go into the living room and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go over blah blah blah's house, you know, and then I'm gonna go on that date. And she just looks at me really weird and she's like, okay. So fast forward, I go on this date with this guy, and to be honest, he was a really nice guy, but at the same time, I could just tell that he wasn't what I was looking for, if that makes sense. Like, it seemed like he was ready to settle down, start a family, get married, and I just got out of a long-term relationship, so I'm still out here testing the waters. I'm not there yet. So I get back to Raven's house at 1 in the morning, and she was supposed to give me a code for the door, okay? That never happened, which I think is complete BS because listen to this. So before, whenever we were friends, not even like in high school, you know, just like before this, she would literally give me her keys to go inside of her house. Okay? Okay. Well, then she gets this new lock on her door or whatever, right? And you know, I come over her house the one day and she's like, oh, turn around, don't look, or close your eyes. I'm putting in my code, which I'm about to go off on a whole rant here because whatever, I did not give a flying fuck what the code to her house was, to be honest. The issue that I had was the fact that she was treating me like I was a thief or something, or yeah, even though she's literally given me her house key for 2 weeks before she got this passcode lock on her door, acting like I'm literally gonna have somebody come over and rob her. Okay. And I know you guys are probably like, well, I wouldn't want anybody knowing my code either. Listen, it's the principal. Before, she used to give me her fucking key, you know, but whenever I'm actually staying at her house, like I wasn't even staying at her house whenever she gave me a key. Whenever I'm actually staying at her house, she can't even give me the code to the door. So what do I have to do? I have to call them at 1 in the morning. She didn't answer the phone. Ryan did. So he came down, unlocked the door. I came in, and I guess I pissed her off again because he opened the door. I went straight into the room that I was staying in. So the next day I am hanging out with Andrew because he took me to my doctor's appointment, and I call Raven because I'm currently sitting outside the house waiting for her. Well, I call her and I'm like, hey, you know, what time do you get home from work? She's like, I don't get off till blah 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 time. I told you this. Okay, how about you send me a picture of your schedule then, because I don't have time to sit here and remember every little detail of your schedule. Thanks. And you know, so she tells me that she doesn't get off work till later, and then she's like, by the way, I have a bone to pick with you, buddy. And I'm like, all right, what's up? She goes, first of all, you came back to my house at 1 in the morning. You didn't even tell me where you were going. You just walked out. Now listen, I am not a 15-year-old girl. Okay, I'm an adult staying at my adult friend's house. There should be no reason why I have a curfew. And my thing is, she doesn't have kids. Granted, I'm not gonna come into her house at 4 in the morning, okay? I will respect that, okay? But if I would have known that it would have been like this, I definitely just would have got my ass a hotel. Period, end of story. The only reason why she had me stay there and I wanted to stay there was because I wanted to spend time with her. But anyways, I was like, okay, I respect that, my bad, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, I don't even remember what happened the rest of that day. I was just over the bullshit. So somehow, I don't know which day, her and I are talking about the date that I went on. And this kid is Snapchatting me every day, asking me if I want to go on dates, more dates, and he, you know, pretty much giving off the vibe that he really likes me. So, you know, I politely decline, and I just said what I said earlier. I think you're looking for something different than I'm looking for. You know, I'm just not really in a place where I want to be dating, if that makes sense. So, you know, he says, oh yeah, like me too, completely understand, but he did not get the hint because he was still asking me out. And my thing is like, he was a really nice kid. It's just that I was at a point in my life where I was done feeling pressured to please everybody, you know? So him asking me out over and over again was kind of like annoying to me. A little bit, yeah. So I told her about it and she's like, oh my gosh, you need to go out with him again. Like, he sounds so nice. You had a crush on him for so long in high school, blah, blah, blah. Well, I am sitting in the room the one night and I decide to come out because I hear that she got home from work. So I walk into the kitchen and I'm like, hey, how was work? And right away she was like giving me an attitude. So I already knew that she was in a bad mood. She was like, well, work is work and it just hasn't been a good day at all. And I'm like, oh, you know, like I thought that you were mad at me. And she was like, well, you're definitely part of the problem, buddy. So at that point I'm kind of surprised, but then again I'm not, because she's been acting off with me all week. Actually, ever since I went on that date. Yeah, that's whenever she started acting really off with me. So of course I go, well, why is that? And then she sits down at the kitchen table with me and she pretty much tells me everything that's wrong with me.
I think that your issue is, but sometimes I feel like... No, I'm gonna tell you what your issue is.
Yeah. She sits me down and she tells me that I'm depressed. She can see it. I'm falling into a deep hole. Like a deep depression. She knows that I was depressed with my ex-boyfriend, but at least I was happy when I was with him. Happier than I am now. What else? Yeah, she said that everybody around me can see it, and backstory on why she said that. I'll say sometimes I go into like manic episodes when I'm on my meds, you know, where I talk super fast. I'm just like doing 30 million things at once. But also, I get very bad bloody noses from dry air. And if anybody else has that problem, you know that your nose will just start bleeding at any random time. So, you know, I'm low-key manic, my nose is bleeding, and also I've lost a lot of weight. So this gets turned into I am abusing my meds. Yeah, I'm abusing them. She goes, I don't know if you're taking too much of this. And I was like, well, that's not even my medication. You don't even know what medication I'm on. And she was like, listen, everybody at my work can see it. Ryan can see it. Also, you know, you're really pretty, but you could gain 5 pounds. And I'm just going to say this in the exact way that she did. Okay? I'm not being overdramatic or anything. She goes, let me get into character. I just feel so bad because nobody else around you is being honest with you. I just feel like I'm the only one that cares or even pays enough attention to know that you're not being yourself. Now, during this whole conversation, I kept telling her that nothing was wrong. Nothing was wrong. I'm okay. Because there was literally nothing wrong. Like, I had no freaking idea what she was talking about whatsoever. And when I say that, I genuinely mean it. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm actually the happiest that I've been in a while. What the fuck? So, you know, I tell her, I say, I've just got out of a long-term relationship. I'm trying to find myself again. I've never been on my own, so clearly this is a drastic change in my life and I'm gonna be a little bit different. But every time I tried to tell her that, she just didn't listen. So I got up from the table and I looked at her and I said, I'm gonna pack my things. Now, to be honest, I wish she just would have said, I think that's a good idea or something like that. But instead, when I go into the room and I am packing up my things, and then she comes in and sits on the bed.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Are you following me now?
Now, mind you, I am upset. I'm crying because my best friend just sat me down and pretty much told me everything that was wrong with me, and I felt very alienated, very betrayed almost, in a way. I don't even know. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. My thing is like, if somebody sits there and, you know, they're like saying, you're not yourself, you're not you, and you're sitting there and you know that you are happy and you know that you are finding yourself and you're becoming happier and happier each day, obviously you're gonna feel some type of way. Anyways, so while she is sitting on the bed, she just makes things worse, to be honest. She's like, maybe what I said came out wrong. I'm sorry, I just felt like I had to talk to you about it. I don't know how to go about these conversations. And then I'm pretty sure she asked me why I was crying. She goes, why are you crying? Are you afraid that I'm gonna hit you? Can we just take a second real quick? First of all, no, I wasn't scared of that, but now that you say that, I'm questioning if you're gonna hit me. Like, who the hell says that to somebody whenever they're upset?
Emotional, damn it.
So, you know, she goes, I promise I'm not gonna hit you. Well, sis, I really hope I don't have to worry about that because we're not 5 years old. We know to keep our hands to ourselves. Well, then she brings up the fact that she feels like I was using her for her house, First of all, like I said before, if I would have known that this was gonna be the shit that I had to fucking deal with, I would have just got a hotel, okay? Like, I did not need to stay there. The only reason why I was staying there was because I wanted to spend time with her. But the issue with that was, I did not know her work schedule, okay? If she would have sent me over her work schedule, I probably could have worked around things. But I couldn't because Raven, I guess, just expected me to wait until she got home like a puppy and then be like, oh my God, you're home. You know, like, let's do this, let's do that. No, I have family to go and visit. Not only that, I want to have a life, and you should tell me when you want to hang out. I'm not a mind reader. Like, apparently the night that I went on the date with that kid, she was excited because she thought that we were gonna watch TV together, you know, watch a movie, do this, do that. But my thing is like, how do I know that when you don't tell me? And then she was like, well, every time that I, you know, wanted to talk to you, you were on the phone, or it just seemed like you didn't want to talk. Which is the most absurd shit that I've ever heard, because my thing is, when I wasn't on the phone, I was just sitting in the room, either working or just watching stuff on my phone, okay? So she could have came in at any time and asked me if I wanted to do something, because it's also not like I had the door shut 24/7. Nope, like, I'm sorry, but I just don't know anybody who sits there and assumes that somebody is going to hang out with them without even telling them that they want to hang out. So I'm not good with confrontation, so I pretty much say whatever the fuck I can to get out of there, okay? So I have whatever the fuck kind of conversation she wants us to have, and then I dip and I go to a hotel. So her and I left off on okay terms, and then 2 days later I get a text from her and she's like, do you want to meet up sometime this week to talk, or do you just want to leave things the way they are? So I text her and I'm like, yeah, we can meet up if you want, but I'm gonna say what I have to say over text because I'm not good with confrontation, and I know that if we meet up, I'm not gonna get out everything that I want to say. So I pretty much tell her that she, one, hurt my feelings. The way that she had talked to me that week was completely uncalled for, because I've never spoke to her like that ever in my life since we've been friends. I also brought up the fact that she accused me of abusing my meds. I also brought up the fact that whenever she's upset and I ask her what's wrong, if she tells me that nothing is wrong, I don't push it. I respect what she says and I let her come to me, or we just don't talk about it at all. Conversation changed. Not only that, she was weighing in on my relationship with Andrew, saying, well, I just think that you don't really know if you want to be with him or not, blah, 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 blah. Like, my thing is, okay, I don't weigh in on your and Ryan's relationship, okay? If you tell me you two are fighting, or you tell me that you two are broken up one day, it is what you say it is. I'm not gonna badger you about your own relationship. Like, what the fuck? Like, she completely disregarded the, like, 40 times that I told her I was okay, there was nothing wrong. Not only that, but I feel like she was, like, forcing me to feel a way that she wanted me to feel. So then she texts me and she's like, I don't want to have to say what I need to say over text, so we can either talk in person or we can talk on the phone. Okay, whatever. So, you know, I call her and that phone call really just did nothing. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm going to pretty much reenact the conversation for you word for word, because this was the most ridiculous conversation that I think I have ever had in my life. So pretty much the phone call went her saying that I'm all over the place about small things. For example, I don't know if I want to go on a date with this person, or if I want to go on a date with that person, or if I want to do the nasty with this person. And then she goes, but don't think this is like just about boys, you know? She's like, this is about like everything. And then I'm like, well, you know, I'm single, and that's what single girls do. Single girls talk about boys that they are talking to, you know? Like, what the heck? And not only that, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm not a freaking pilgrim. Like, I'm not gonna freaking be like, oh my God, the first guy that I met and I went on a date with, I wanna have kids with him, I wanna marry him, I wanna die with him. No, that's not how it works. We are in 2023. If I want to talk to as many men as I want to, I will do so. Okay? Okay. So then she goes, well, that's not even like the point that I'm trying to get at. The point that I'm trying to get at is you say, well, I don't know if I want to do the nasty with him, or if I don't do the nasty with him, I'm not going to get my kitty shaved or waxed. But then I'm also gonna go on Tinder and talk to as many guys as I can. So I interrupt her and I'm like, see, this is where I feel like you are attacking me. Okay, this is where I feel like you're attacking me. Because one, how the hell is that relevant to our conversation? Why is that even being brought up? Your example of it not even being about boys, clearly it is all about guys, because that's literally the only two examples that you've came up with. So, you know, I'm like, listen, clearly I just couldn't talk to you about this stuff because you're in a relationship, you know? And we had bonded over being in a relationship. Now we're just not in that phase where, you know, you're talking about your boyfriend, I'm talking about mine, you know? Now it's me wanting to talk about guys that I'm talking to and dates that I have, but you're in a relationship and you're kind of over that part. So, yeah. Pretty much then she argued with me about what my doctor said. She was like, and me telling you you could gain 5 pounds, like, you can't be mad at me about that because your doctor even said so. Sis, no, that's not what I said. My doctor told me, like, I was wearing baggy ass clothes to the doctors, right? And they're like, well, the meds that we're gonna put you on today, you know, and this liquid diet, you're gonna lose some weight, so that's cool. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, yeah, it was literally just the most irrelevant conversation I've ever had in my life, and there was not one valid point that she brought up that whole time. And then, you know, I'm pretty much like, I don't care what your boyfriend or your coworkers see because I don't fucking know them from a hole in the wall. So whatever they know is whatever you tell them about me. And then she goes, well, it's not even like they have to know you on the inside, you know, like they can know you from the outside. So then I'm like, so what's wrong with me on the outside? And then she goes, well, do you want me to go through what people have told me? And I'm like, sure, go ahead. And then literally the only thing that she had to bring up was my weight, arguing with me about what my doctor said. So I'm like, that's not what my doctor said, you know, like we're bickering back and forth about what my fucking doctor said about my weight. And then I'm like, okay, so what else? And she goes, you're not even getting the point. Like, I don't even think it's worth to continue talking. I really just honestly feel like you didn't have any other, there wasn't any other things that people were seeing on the outside. So pretty much at the end, she says that she said something because she thought that I was depressed. She saw me falling into a deep hole. So pretty much the end of the conversation was her explaining how she was just worried about me and how she wanted to make sure that I was okay, and that's why she came to me, because she thought something was really wrong. And yeah, but from my point of view, it just didn't seem like that, because of the fact that she pretty much called me a you-know-what for talking to multiple guys. Like, the only examples that she brought up pretty much were all about guys, you know? She was like, when we went out to breakfast, you were talking too much about guys the whole time. And I'm like, okay. It honestly felt like she was attacking me for the way I was living my life, you know? Like, which I don't know. Maybe she could have actually just been worrying about me, but from the few things that I've just told you about what that conversation went about, it didn't really feel like she was worrying about me. So, yeah. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of me, maybe hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know whenever I post my next story time, make sure to click that bell. Also, it would mean a lot to me if you guys did go and check out my Snapchat show. I will also have the link below down for that in the description. Also, if you want to send in your anonymous story time, or you want to know how to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the links down below in the description. But without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.